It's a pleasure to know that you're still with us on Breakfast Weekend on Impact Africa Television. Now, after that workout session, for people who are already complaining, like Puran here, that the Hamatan is one way, at least, and even you, I'm sure you left the bed, right? You left the couch to work out a little bit. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, moving forward on Breakfast Weekend this morning, we're going to be discussing something that a lot of people have been talking about. It's in every corner, it's in every room. One person or two are talking about it. But it seems like there's this popular Yoruba saying that Kakakusan Lara Iyaje. Something, finish it yourself. This sex for grades issue in Nigerian tertiary institutions, you go to the colleges of education, the polytechnics, the universities, it's still rampant. There are still people who believe if they do it, they'll get away with it. How then can we tackle it if the threats of punishment is not working? If the threat of I am going to talk, I am going to drag you on the internet is not working? What else can be done? We have a human rights activist in the studio with us this morning, Comrade Kemi Aremu. Good morning.
Thank you
for joining us.
I'm so delighted to be here.
Hope you're not cold.
Good morning. No, but it's really cold outside, but I'm not cold right now.
We have our own UK right now. So we're all enjoying the UKism.
Not sweating, but then it's dry and it's cold.
Anyway, let's talk about what we're here to do. The Menace of Sex for Grades seems to have gotten a revamp, so to say, in tertiary institutions. There was a time it went down. There was a time that, some students testified to the fact that some of those lecturers would say, before you go and talk now, before you go and, in a very petty way, they just say that. But it seems they are back on track. They have gone back and re-energized. What would you say to that?
It's a behavioral issue.
Okay.
I don't legislate against behavior. So when people, and sex is very powerful. It's a very powerful emotion. It's the reason, it's before money. People would go for sex before they even negotiate for money. So it's a very strong emotion for the male, female, the aggressor. So it drives a lot of things. We use it to drive markets. You've noticed it. If you want to sell a car, attach a female picture. Even paints, even boots, wear it on a female. So we've objectified the female. So it's almost become, it's almost like a culture. It's a human culture to want to possess a woman. And also, when you think of the fact that the male married down economically, age-wise, so they love a place of dominance, because aggression is not linear. There's male on male, female on male, male on female, it varies. So the issue of sex for grades does not even begin at the tertiary level. It starts from primary school.
How? Primary school?
Yes, and secondary school.
How do you mean?
It's a human thing. It's a societal thing. That's why anything we don't want to see, we have to stop. You know that before now, if people wrote their primary school exams, it was just an exam. But now it's to determine which school you would go to.
Sure.
So if you have big girls, in class, I've had cases of rape. I've had cases of negotiation of some sort. So there are threats too. You can just fail mathematics and the person that is paying your school fees will no longer pay. And it's a threat. And so secondary school too. So it's a societal thing. And if we look at it more holistically, then we'll be able to handle it better. That's what I think.
There are people who say that it's what the girls are doing. It's something they're doing. It's like the men have some antenna of some sort that when they notice the lady doing that, they just pick on this girl wants to be chased.
Some would even tell you to dress down. You shouldn't use makeup. You should tie scarf if you have to.
And there are people who already do that in classes. That particular lecturer likes ladies. You do not wear any makeup. You don't wear bright colors to class so that he wouldn't notice. And so if any girl that he eventually chases is, maybe somebody says, so lecturer is already chasing maybe Binkwe, for example, there will be she must have done something to have attracted him.
Well, we love to blame people, but you don't blame the victim. That is a crime against humanity and the good sense of judgment. Blaming the victim is not the issue. An aggressor is aggressive. Even if you're wearing sack, what do babies wear? Okay, to attract an adult male. So it's normal. Females are attracted by males, and males are attracted by females, and the other side, those that have those perversions are also attracted by the other. So sex, that's what I said, sex is fundamental. Is a life preservation issue. So, but when it comes to trading and negotiation, that's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Some of the girls are willing to go into relationship, and they think the fringe benefit would be adoration, enhancement from the result from the other person. If you're in a relationship, you have to be kind. A relationship is based on
Quite transactional.
yes, quite transactional. So, but then if somebody is now placing a demand on a person who does not want, that's where it becomes a crime. And children don't go to the tertiary institutions. In Nigeria, we expect adults are in schools. So, but the way I'd love to look at it now is this way: you attract an oppressor, whoever you are, if you're weak. The oppressor is exerting influence, control, and he thinks I can control that girl. So sometimes when you're beautiful, well dressed, and most girls are sweet 16, the teenage years, you're too full of life, full of ideas, you're not intimidated yet, you're dreaming, you're a dreamer. So there's a way you carry your neck. There's something about a young,
That
bright light.
confidence.
Yes, there's something about that untainted, glorious, futuristic, dynamic persona that attracts anybody. So it's not something that is special. It's every girl, unless you've been intimidated, abused by the society, you have very terrible inferiority complex, and you're not. That's when it shouldn't be around you. There's an air around the young girl that is attractive to anybody. However, to become a victim will depend on your strength. There's something about evil. It's you communicate it silently. What I mean by that is this: if a man approach you, a lecturer approached me my final year, and this was how he went about it. I came downstairs, went into his office. Oh, good day, sir. I said, wow, you're very beautiful. I said, oh, my daddy says that all the time. So he now laughed. I mean, that was an answer I did not expect. And I said, how old are you? So I'm 18 years old. So it shows. I laughed. To my man, I was like, stupid man. No, really, because if I acknowledged, I understood. You see, that's what I said, there's a silent game in it. When you acknowledge the silence, the man looks at you and winks his eye, and you go like,
And you smile.
No, you don't. You're not frowning, and you're frightened. I mean, that means you've recognized the signal.
Okay.
We all know about communication at the 5 levels, how most of it is non-verbal, gestural too. So when you now acknowledge that signal, then you've gone to the second stage of communication. You're now going on to discuss. It's not a matter of whether you want it or not. Do you get it? But if the first signal, it winks, says, "Oh, is something wrong with your eyes?" Do you have? Then you have to, the shock gives you time to also exit. So we must teach our people, our children, our sisters at home, everybody. If you do not want, you also don't go around it. But beyond that, we need to strengthen our girls. I've had cause to go to some universities in the East about war against rape, an activist, and the girls tell me terrible things. They're so weak, they know they cannot pass. Okay, but they just want the certificate, whether to go and be selling kose after some time. Kose is being kicked. They're thinking, I'll not work with it, but I just want a certificate because it will enhance my marital bride price. So they're not ready to be in school for anything, but they're in school. So they don't know, but they just want to pass. So they will go into negotiations. And if the community know that the girls are normally that desperate, they will negotiate for it. Then the system helps. There's a gender mainstreaming office at the University of Ibadan. I've also been to Taisho Lare University, Taswed. I know they have one. Most institutions are trying to put up gender mainstreaming offices. I also know ASU has spoken clearly against sex for grades. ASUP too, I've not heard their statement on it, but I'm sure we can get them, of the polytechnics. All
Comrade, before you go too further into that, I would like to take you back to the part where the victims, the girls themselves, or maybe even boys, go into negotiation, go to the lecturers for sex for grades. I mean, in those cases, when we hear stories of the students actually going to meet the lecturer, when people hear, they don't usually respond the way they do when it's the lecturer coming to the student. Some would say, oh, if you're willing to give something for it, then that's fine. They feel like it's okay, like it's almost consensual, since you're the one going to meet the person, that it's okay, that it's fine. But some people don't really understand the fact that that's still wrong. I don't know if you think
it's criminal to exchange anything for grades. The only way you get scored is by writing
The right thing.
the right thing in the papers. And usually it is not just one lecturer that takes a course. So how many will you sleep with in the course of 4 years or 5 years? Then beyond that, papers are vetted. So it's when people don't understand that the lecturer is not the sole custodian of the examination script. Examination scripts are stored in strong rooms. That's the truth. And anytime there's an accreditation, these scripts are brought physically. In fact, in some cases, students that have gone for some years can recall their papers. So if people understand the system, all of your life does not depend on any lecturer.
While what you're saying is correct, I remember I think it was my 3rd year in the university, that there were some people who had issues with their scripts. And somebody brought it up that you can recall it. If something is wrong, recall it. And there was another voice of reason. I like to call that voice of reason. As I always say, hey, Abif, just leave it to. Because if you recall it and they find out that you just wasted their time, they're even going to they're going to mark it down even further. So that guy just,
No. Okay, say, every time lecturers set questions,
okay,
they set marking schemes.
Sure.
So that anybody can check. Those marking schemes are also submitted with the script. So it's not one person. Sometimes when you take courses, a lecturer may be on sabbatical, may have course to travel.
Yeah.
The scripts won't wait. Anybody in that field, also a specialist in that field, can take up your marking scheme and mark the scripts. It's like WAEC. It's not your teachers that mark your WAEC results. It's an external exam, and anybody can mark it because the marking scheme is there. So the only problem with students recalling papers, the moral side of it is, if a lecturer has assessed you, believe it, that's your score. Because you may misunderstand the query and the important point. And that's why I want to say that I would ask parents to please invest in some seminars that go on all the time. Students have to know how to answer questions. I see that there's not a lot of that going on. When I was in secondary school, we had a lecturer, a teacher whose job was to teach. In fact, the first thing they teach you from Form 1 then was how to answer questions, how to interpret the question. So it's not that people are dull, and that's where the problem comes in. If a student had tried his or her best last semester and the result came negative, so they become fearful, thinking, what did I do wrong? How did I go about it wrongly? But instead of going to a space, which I think all of us must create as a society, where you can genuinely ask, please, am I getting it wrong? Am I approaching the questions?
What exactly am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong? So now, in a bid to do that, some students approach some lecturers and they get to now size them up. So you want to fear the lecturers, but I tell you, in a normal distribution curve in a society, bad people will be about 2.5% of any population. Never more than that.
I'd like to take it from there, comrade. Some people feel that while you're in school, you shouldn't have any sort of relationship with your lecturer, like just beyond come to class, give you your lectures, go. If you have to go there, formal, just go back. While some students, I feel that in an ideal learning institution, you should be able to seek for mentorship from your lecturers. They're supposed to be people that can assist you. But some people feel just don't cross that line. After class, try not to see your lecturers. I don't know if there's a way to strike a balance.
That is the word, balance. Okay, loitering around corridors of lecturers will earn you a reputation. Loitering around corridors of power will earn you a reputation. To a large extent, a female should be reserved. This reservation is one of dignity, you're aware personally, and you love to hold yourself in a high esteem, so you don't come cheap, because familiarity breeds contempt. So, and before you go to any lecture, so ideally any student, you see, this approach is funny. After a lecture, during the lecture, you can raise your hands and ask questions for clarification also. After the lecture, as soon as the lecture is rounding up, students approach.
Sure.
Okay, you have your opportunity again. To now go to a lecturer's office at 5 p.m. means what? Okay, you have to think of that. And it's the same thing. And when a student is approaching a lecturer, I've seen that. I knew a girl who went to befriend a mentor of mine. And what was that reason? I said, she's not close to anybody and I want to be close to her. So I'm willing to date your friend. Any friend you can give me to in order to get close to her. I mean, that's a perversion. Okay? So the big deal is, if we can train our children to learn, the university or tertiary institution education is different from primary school. In primary school, children learn by rote. In secondary school, parents get them extra teachers and pump everything into their head. So they have not come to acknowledge the knowledge they have received. They're not thinking of knowledge for use. So by the time they get to the university, where basically education is about what? Judgment, applications. Then they begin to have problem, because parents have aided them all along and they've never had confidence in themselves. So that means they may have problems. So when they see issues where students are failing 100 level and then out of the university, they become frightened and they now think, what have I watched on television? That's where the media comes in. They show a lot of pictures about lecturers and students. No, it's not real. That's why I said, for the normal distribution of any population, less than 2.5% of the lecturers are there. That means if you have 100 lecturers in a school, only about 2 or 3 lecturers will be like that.
Talking about statistics, there's a group of people who believe that the blame shouldn't ever be on the ladies. That no matter how she carries herself, no matter how even if she dresses in any certain way, the people who should be addressing the society should be such lecturers. Now you're saying it's only a minute percentage. Is there anything that the lady, you've highlighted a number of them already, that people need to speak of, people need to carry themselves with that confidence,
dignity,
and not give into the nuances or gestures that the lecturer or whomever is trying to pass across? Are there other tips that you can give?
Well, the first thing is, if you're studious, everybody will know. If your question is intelligent, everybody will know. Students come, when you come to the university, you get a prospectus. It details the questions, the important points, the topics that you will come into in that semester. So it means if you go topic by topic and you read the topic before going to class, your question will be so intelligent, what you earn is respect. However, if there's a lecturer, or teacher that is loose, everyone will know. In fact, people will warn you ahead of time. They'll say things like, don't go near that lecturer, the lecturer is very loose. Or when you raise your hand in class, there'll be some sounds, I'll tell you that, danger zone, okay? However, if anybody tries to oppress you as a Nigerian, you have a duty to report such a one. You can go to your HOD to complain. And when you are in school, be aware. Awareness means lecturers come in and express their thoughts while they're teaching you. You seem to know the lecturer that has some soft spot for students that you can complain to. There'll be a fatherly figure you can complain to. There's always somebody that can guide you aright. And of course, pray. Yes, because there was a time when I was in school, I had a friend, strange enough, she would always have stories of lecturers after her life. And I tell her, what are they looking for you? Because we're very young and what is it about you that is attracting negative people to you? Because all my own lecturers liked me and nobody was toasting me. You get it? And it's not like she was spectacularly beautiful. You know, when you're very beautiful, people don't want to spoil beautiful things. So it's just that there was an air around her. And I noticed later as she grew up, the air continued. So I kept thinking, there's a space of prayer. And then, of course, if you wear naughty things, I think the lecturers should actually also report such students. Yes, if you dress to school, the educational space is a formal space. We have to get that right. It is a formal space. We're grooming the leaders of tomorrow. So you're expected to dress decently when you come to school. Now, a situation where you have your jeans cut in various places, it means when people see you, they're thinking of partying. They're thinking you're loose. And then, coupled with the fact that many students are on drugs nowadays. Yes, they are on drugs. So they will not be all together. Okay? Some lecturers are on drugs. So when we're tackling issues, we should tackle it holistically. If you're a student who is studious and you have a genuine problem, I don't think any adult will really start harassing you. And before some people start saying, you don't know, okay, that's true. Showing cleavage is a problem because people respond to sight. And they think you're giving me a comment, you know. And there's something about men, they like challenges. Yes, they like challenges. And some the kind of speech too, communication. Some guys raise funny issues. You cannot be, if you're in school, you can't be, anyway, it has to do with inferiority complex. It has to do with sense of rejection. You know, we all have this psychological baggage all around. So people that have psychological issues will really show some tendencies, like trying to attract attention, being rude, speaking loud. You know, a lot of these things happen all the time. Okay? And you just wonder. So when people are like that, and some girls like free things, freebies, they want to go to, you know, I've had cases of girls ask, sir, you can buy us credit. I mean, if you do that, that's definitely a common. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, why would your lecturer buy you credit?
Or your lecturer buy you drinks and we are hungry.
That's it. So that's a common. Yes, that is it. That's a common. When you say, I'm hungry, or I love blue, and the lecturer is wearing blue. That's a common. You know, so that's why it's a formal setting. Maintain the formality, show respect, and some distance. So a formal distance. We all know how it goes. What you not say to your daddy, don't say to your lecturer. And then if you're very close to your dad, because some daddies have really destroyed the boundary. Yes, they've destroyed boundaries. I've seen girls, you know, touching their daddy's ears, you know, or hugging. So if they carry it on, so parents should please help. Teach children boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. You're my lecturer. I respect you. I honor you. There's some conversations I will not carry on, even with a colleague, not to talk of a lecturer. So I was always close to my lecturers. Still am. I love my lecturers. Wonderful, brilliant people.
Thank you so much. It's been quite insightful talking to you. We have been discussing the menace of sex for grades, and we've been discussing with Comrade Kemi Aremu, who is a gender, but I like to call her in my head, I've never said it to her face, a women activist. Not just human activist. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll have something else coming up right after. Just stay with us.